We're officially recording. Well, yeah, welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you on screen and everybody looks happy, smiley and excited to be here. We're here to talk about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, the campaign, and give you a bit more info on what it's all about and different ways you might want to get involved and the level of support that we give, and to just basically hear from you as well about whether there's anything you specifically need help with, whether it's on the session tonight or after the session going forward. There's lots of opportunities through the campaign. The campaign runs for like 6 months basically, and me and Kimberley are sort of hands on deck for that time. So we are contactable for the duration. And yeah, we're happy to help and hear from anybody that needs a bit of hand holding or a connection or whatever it is. So it's really lovely to kind of put faces to the names and get to know people better. So for those that don't know me, I'm Rachel, and I founded Women on Tap into 2017. So we've been running the social enterprise now for quite a long time. We're starting to plan our 10th year of celebrations, and there's a lot more of that to come. But for now, obviously we're here to talk about IWCBD for tonight, which Women on Tap just took on this year. This was our first this year. I keep saying last year because it's that campaign's done with, but yeah, the 2025 campaign was our first running it. So we're really proud to be able to run it, and I'll talk a bit more about the campaign in a second, but I just wanted to sort of introduce who I am and my kind of association with what we're talking about tonight. And Kimberley, do you want to just say a few words about you?
Yeah, I am, I guess, the background headless chicken that runs around and does the logistics. So yeah, so everything from I guess things like populating the map. I guess if anybody has any questions on the campaign, I do all the social content as well, do all the reshares. I guess if anybody has any, needs any inspiration, needs any ideas, yeah, I'm kind of there for a bit of everything really at the moment. So, and then I also do my own brew day as well, which Jen, I hope you're going to come to the next one. So yeah, so I will be yeah, doing all the social content. So I guess if anybody gets stuck for ideas or needs any support, any help, or yeah, if you tag me, that's me resharing it. So yeah, I'm here to help basically.
And we've got our email and stuff at the end of the presentation that you can jot down and keep handy if you need us at any point. But basically, we're just going to talk you through a few slides about the campaign, show you some ideas of what people did last year, talk about what the whole point is for doing it, and go over some different ways that you can get involved. And then, yeah, just make sure you've got our contact information and you know what to do. But I just thought before we start, I'd be really interested, just in the chat, nobody has to kind of speak or anything, but it'd be great if you would sort of say who you are and what you're hoping to get from this. So like, have you done it before? Are you new to it? If you could give us a little flavour of where you're at with the campaign and what you might be looking for from tonight, it'd be really, really helpful. And then we can make sure we've covered those things as well.
I don't mind going first if no one else wants to. I'm Sophie. I actually work for Lost and Grounded Brewers. So really what I kind of wanted to jump on this for is we've done an International Women's Day brew for 2 years now, but the first one we did just with all the women of Lost and Grounded. We just did it amongst ourselves, and it was a kind of a nice little brew. Last year we did a event where it was an invite only event. And we had people come to the brewery with us, and we did quite a fun brew day then. We're going to be doing another one next year. It's going to be invite only again, just because of the nature of the brew house. It's not like we can let people get stuck in, like you can't mash out in hours. But we kind of, I suppose what I hope to get from this is just to learn a little bit more about the campaign, and is there anything else that I can do that might help steer our invite only event that we're going to be doing, and if I can come up with any good ideas, really, as to how I can make it engaging for our invitees, really.
Great. That's good to know. Yes, we've got another brewer, and so we've got some first time people, which I think is always exciting, because one of the big things is we want to grow the campaign, we want to get more people involved. It's a really amazing thing to be part of, and people always kind of have that feel good factor, I think, just by being involved in it in some way. So we're trying to really expand reach this year and keep every year building on the numbers that are getting involved. And we've got no half measures. Lucy's here tonight. Yeah, so okay, so you're looking at potentially partnering with breweries as a partner, for which a lot of breweries do sort of align with local groups, and you know, it's a bit more of a collaboration within their own local area, which is always great. Katie at the Old Cannon, who's hiding. Okay, another first timer, which is fab.
I am Red from First and Last Brewery in Northumberland. I have done collaboration brew day. Didn't do one last year, but I've done them in previous years when we were on our old site. We've now moved into a slightly bigger site. It's still just a 10-barrel brewery. Hoping to do a community day as part of our 10 years for 10 beers for 10 years, because it's our 10th year anniversary. So this will be one of those special brews that we do, and hopefully get a load of women from the community and from other local breweries along for a bit of a sharing day, really. So yeah, I haven't decided what we're quite doing yet, but yeah, just a bit of a chance to get together and celebrate women in the Northeast that are involved in brewing.
Excellent.
A few more just coming on the side as well. Everybody's posted now.
Excellent. I love this. Yeah, and everybody's very enthusiastic, which is exactly what we need. Okay, while if anyone's still typing, feel free, keep typing in the chat. And if questions come to you as we're talking, feel free to chuck them in the chat as we go, and we'll aim to pick them up when it's the best kind of time to do that. I'm just going to attempt to share my slides now, because I've branded them up and they look really lovely, I think. Okay. So if you have been involved before, you've probably noticed that it looks a bit different this year. There's always some common elements to the branding, but we change the colours and we just have a bit of fun with the visual design just to distinguish it each year. So this is the colourway for this year, and you'll probably see this crazy kind of salmony pink all over the place soon, which is always really effective when we make it a nice bold colour. Yeah, so we'll just start at the very beginning, I guess. What actually is it? It's a campaign is the best way to describe it. It's a kind of global celebration of women in the beer industry and their communities, and all the kind of amazing contributions and impact that women have on the industry, that it is still a very male dominated space, and the fact that it connects with International Women's Day every year is great, because it's very relevant, and it's a really fabulous way for people to celebrate that are interested in beer, that are working in beer, for both for women and for allies and people that just want to support that kind of cause and mission as well. And it fits really well with what Women on Tap is all about, which is about boosting representation and celebrating the kind of contribution and impact of women in the beer industry, and hopefully bringing more women into the space by offering them an opportunity to go into a brewery, experience a brew day, have a bit of networking, have a bit of like learning while you're there. And we know that all the brew days are a bit different. Some are not public, some of them are more structured, and some of them you get more opportunity to get stuck into the actual brewing than others. But either way, there's an opportunity there across multiple projects for people to potentially go and be involved in some way that otherwise wouldn't have that chance. So it's a really great campaign. It did actually start in 2014, and it was Sophie Durand from Burnt Mill Brewery that started the campaign, and then ran it, working with a number of different kind of people and volunteers over 10 years. And it did exceptionally well. And it was always a really well respected initiative. Lots of people got involved. That's why it's kind of been easy for us as a bit of a launch pad to pick it back up, because people know it. They know how great it is. They know how fabulous it is to be part of it. And the campaign had a bit of a hiatus in 2024. And my concern was that it was looking like it might fizzle out. So I spoke to Sophie and floated the idea that we might want to pick it up if she was no longer going to run it. And I think for Sophie, she'd kind of felt that what she'd wanted to do with it, she'd done, and she'd achieved it. And as much as she kind of wanted it to continue, she didn't feel like she was in the right place to do that anymore. So I think it was a really opportune time for us to step in and basically say, hey, this fits with what we're trying to do. We can pick up the reins and carry on. So that's what we did. And we announced that in 2024. And then this year was our first campaign running it. And we made a couple of adjustments in that I think a lot of money has been raised over the years for causes. We kind of made that a little bit more formal. So we made it very accessible, though, even though we said that it's not kind of compulsory to be part of it, but we were asking everyone to consider making a minimum donation of £100 through their brew day, their beer. So basically, whether they were fundraising separately or using sales from the beers themselves, that's up to them. We set £100 just as an amount that we felt would work for most people, hopefully. Lots of people donated more than that this year, certainly people that were brewing big volumes of beer and able to put a bit more money in the pot. But everyone kind of chooses their own cause and all of these things. It's a very nice kind of, you get to own your own fundraising, you get to choose your own cause. And we raised lots of money, which I'll talk about a bit later. So that's the campaign in a nutshell, really. I need to go back onto my other screen. And here's some amazing photos, which I just had to put in to give you a little bit of a flavour of what it's all about. And people really do have an incredible day coming together and getting their communities together. And you can see there's babies in one of the brew days, which is always, you know, the next generation of beer lovers and brewers. It's a really awesome, inclusive event. And I need to mention, so we have got some sponsors which are really, really key to us being able to keep doing this campaign. So SEBA are our headline partner, and they are really invested in what it's all about and what it's trying to do. This is the second year now that they've supported us with the campaign, and they're really keen on supporting as much as they can and helping drive that mission for like more inclusion in the beer industry and all of that. So it's great to have them on board. Wine and Spirits Education Trust are a education partner. So again, I'll talk a bit more about this in a minute, but basically they sponsor us with free level 1 beer qualifications they're up for grabs for all the participants in the brew days. So I'll tell you in a bit how you can make sure that the participants in your brew day can throw their name in the hat for one of those qualifications. But it's an amazing opportunity. Last year, they donated 18 qualifications, and this year they've upped it to 30. And they want to split that across all the regions. So it's not just for UK, it's going to cover all of the international projects as well. It is a globally recognised qualification, so it should hopefully be relevant to everybody that's able to go in for the opportunity. So we're really grateful for their support, helping people gain these qualifications. And then Simpsons Malt just love what we do, and they've supported us for years, and they're just lovely and very welcome sponsor as well. So just to kind of go through a few, what is the actual aim of the campaign as a whole? And I kind of did this a bit sort of off the top of my head, but here's what it's all about for me. So really consolidating that community. There's a lot of people brewing beer out there from underrepresented groups still, and lots of women that are really passionate about kind of making their stamp and progressing in the beer industry and getting their foot in the beer industry door as well, which isn't always easy. So we're trying to consolidate that community, and that includes the kind of allies and people that want to sit alongside us and say, yes, we also want this. How can we support it? And obviously, it's just an almighty celebration and aligned with International Women's Day of women in the beer space. And that includes women that drink it, as well as women working in breweries. We want to put a spotlight on everyone who's underrepresented in the industry, not only women, but anyone that's kind of facing barriers or struggling to get, the door open, the foot in the door, whatever. It's for everyone that feels like they want to somehow raise their voice and access to these opportunities. Again, vital opportunities to learn and connect. The brew days themselves are incredible networking. I've heard lots of stories from people where they said they met people who they're, good friends and colleagues with, and they've passed them opportunities since. So it's really valuable. And raising money for women's causes is kind of one of the newer additions that we've formalised, but I feel like it's really key to the kind of overall impact of the campaign and how we can say to everybody, this really matters what we're doing here, and it's having an impact and a legacy as well. And we do want to inspire the wider beer industry to commit to inclusion. Like, we want to be able to go, hey, look at this, look how awesome this campaign is with all of these people in these breweries that are not your usual, people that you see in breweries. There's women and there's other minorities in there that are, really keen and passionate and skilled and capable, and it's silly for the beer industry to not embrace that. So we're giving them a glimpse of the alternative universe that they could have. Every year has a theme. This year it's Unite Belonging. The theme is quite loose. It's meant to give inspiration and some gentle steer, and you can be as literal or as abstract as you want with it. We've had all sorts in the past. Last year's theme was Unite Society, and that was chosen by the original founder, Sophie, which I thought was a nice link for the first year of it coming to us. It's just that it's a bit of fun, and it is intended to just give a little bit of guidance for perhaps to inspire your style or your brew day activities or your launch event or whatever it is. So there's a number of ways that you can get involved, or anyone can get involved. We're trying to really say it is open to anybody in some way. You can be part of it, and these are some of the ways. So basically, any breweries can organise their own IWCBD brew day. That's easy. You just have to fill in the form and give us your details, and you're officially in. So I guess the trickier part is that if you have a local brewery that might not know anything about it, or you want to get them to sign up, get them involved, we're here to kind of back that up. We actually talked, didn't we, Kimberley, about potentially, like you get those letters right to your MP, and they basically write it for you and you fill in the gaps. We were like, maybe we need to do like a get your local brewery involved in the campaign and top and tail it kind of thing. But we're here to support that. If you or anybody could use a bit of support to sort of lobby their local brewery and get them to join in, you can participate in a local brew day. So we do this incredible map where we put everyone's pin on the map, all the brew days that are happening, and you can see what's happening near you. That tends to really kick off in the new year. So we get more and more people signing up from January. Once they know when their brew days are going to happen, they're really keen to get on the map, and we share the map everywhere. And it's really helpful for individuals that might want to find a brew day near to them. And this is mainly, Kimberley does a lot of this, but just sharing the action online. We're encouraging people. We've got a welcome pack that gives some tips on things to think about in terms of capturing and sharing content on the day. And we're here to kind of reshare and support that and help promote. And if your event is a public event, we'll shout about that and try and get people interested in coming and booking and joining you all. So yeah, there's ways online, and you can kind of watch that from afar as well. And then we're always looking for sponsorships. So if you think of anyone, or if anybody mentions they might be interested in talking to us about future years, do let us know. So here are some key things to think about. This is kind of the early information. So things like what day your brew day will be on. There's been quite a few years where people have wanted to brew on International Women's Day itself, which is the 8th of March. Last year, I think it was a Saturday. This year, it's a Sunday, which has been quite interesting, because what's happened is people have chosen dates at either side, and it's been a bit more spread out, and it's kind of given us a bit of a chance to kind of breathe a bit with it and sort of follow the brew days and share the content spread over a bit more time. So I think we might get similar again this year, Kimberley, don't you, with it being a Sunday?
Yeah, and I think some people, I mean, we had brew days as early as January last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, just to mention the timing. If some people wanted to do the brew days up front so they could release the beer and have the launch party on International Women's Day. So I think, that's another thing that I guess we're not cemented in stone in terms of that time frame. I mean, obviously it's great that everybody runs around International Women's Day, but I think, if that's another way to fit it into your schedule, then we're definitely open to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We do get people wanting to do a mix of things. Obviously it has to fit with your kind of brew schedule as well and everything. So, and I imagine there's not many people here that would like to be doing this on a Sunday. So it's completely your call. Thinking about whether you'll collaborate with any other local breweries or groups. So Lucy's already mentioned the work that they're doing, and that's always a great thing to do as well, to actually consolidate with different groups and organisations around you and bring everyone together, rather than maybe 3 or 4 different groups in the same area trying to do their own things. And it seems to make more sense to come together. And then
sorry, I just wanted to jump in there. We've had some, I guess, groups or breweries that have done it as like a collab. So they might not be in the same region, or, one's more seasoned at doing it, and then one brewery's new and they've kind of collab together. So it kind of, I guess, gets their communities to join together really and learn from each other. So that's worked quite well. I think Attic and Good Chem were one of the ones that did it last year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. There was one overseas as well, that it was just a load of breweries over Europe that came together in one place as well, which was really interesting. So other things to think about, just when will you release your beer? Like, these are all things we ask you, but it's not necessarily stuff we need to know now. It can be things that if you sign up to the form and you say that you're doing it, we will follow up with you and fill in any gaps down the line. So you don't need to know all of this before you kind of sign up to the campaign. We have quite a few projects that want to do a launch event. Some of the launch events are amazing, like people go all out. But there's no pressure to do that. It could just be an online launch or whatever you normally do. Again, that's completely your call. If you do a launch event, we will help you promote it as part of the campaign and celebrate that. And then starting to think about who you might like to fundraise for. So the donations can go to a local cause, or anything that's kind of significant to you or to anybody in your team, or perhaps someone that's taking part in the brew day. It can be entirely your call. A few other bits. So this is a little bit further down the line. No panic to know all of this now, for sure. I think people would have a wobble if we started demanding all this information in November. What beer style will you brew? It doesn't matter. There's no stipulation around that. It's completely up to you. And I love the fact that we get such a diverse range of beer styles and names. This is always a fun one, and people get quite they think a lot about what it's going to be called, because obviously you want it to be relevant to activism and people. It feels like it's a big decision for a lot of people, the name and the artwork as well. We've had people that have done collaborative brew days, in that sorry, my dog's squeaking at the door, so I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing. They've got everyone on the brew day to like do some drawing, and then they've translated that into label artwork, which is really nice, and people get really creative, which is really interesting and lovely. But yeah, there's some absolutely cracking artwork that comes out of it. And obviously we've mentioned already, but thinking about planning what sort of content you might want to get on your brew day, because I know when you've got your head in these projects, it's quite easy to completely forget to get any photos or anything, and then be like, oh my God, that was an amazing day and I have no documentary evidence that it even happened. So yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about in advance. And then thinking about what we might be able to help you with. So if there's any sort of gaps in your knowledge, or you need a relationship connection brokering, or, you know, you saw something online from last year that you'd love to have a chat with someone about, we're more than happy to kind of make those connections and help you. And it's definitely worth thinking about, especially if you've got a number of organisations working together on your brew day. It's definitely worth thinking about who your main contact will be for us to be able to get all the info so that we can celebrate your project, because we only need one contact per brew day, even if it's a number of organisations. It just keeps it nice and simple. So given all of that, bit of a step-by-step guide. The first step is always complete the sign-up form. That is live now. It's online. It's on the IWCBD website. We're sharing it on our socials all the time, and it's quite minimal information at the moment, so you should be able to fill that in with fairly basic info at this point. But if you sign that, you're on the radar, and we'll kind of have you on the spreadsheet. Send us your logo so we make sure we've got the most up-to-date version. Even if you've done it before, we might want to update or refresh that. And then we've done a little graphic saying that we're part of it, which we send you the link for, and you can share that on your social media just to celebrate the fact that you signed up. And then we add you to the campaign map, and we've got a welcome pack. Kimberley, do you just want to say what's in that welcome pack?
Yeah, the welcome pack will just have lots of lovely handy little links. So it'll have FAQs in. So I think, it'll probably recover some of the stuff that we've done here. But, for example, if you're like, I'm stuck, what cause that we want to kind of align with for our brew day, there's like a list of causes attached, for example, on one of the FAQs. In it, there'll be a link to, I guess, our panel session that we did last year as the closing. We called it the closing ceremony, where we kind of celebrated some of the brew days that had happened. So you can get some kind of inspiration from them. And then I've also done like a little content guide, which is like things for you to think about. I guess the content that you're going to capture on the brew day. So like some handy hints and tips as well in there. So, and then there's a link to all of the assets as well. So anything that you need in terms of like high res artwork to put on the cans, or for the pump clips, or anything that you want to use on your own social content, that's all in a folder as well, linked from the welcome pack. And then normally when you get the welcome pack, I send you an email just to check. I'll draft, we've got these little templated graphics which you might have seen last year, so I'll do one of those for you and send you the caption to approve, just so you know it's all hunky-dory. And then the caption is then repeated again, I guess, in your little tag on the map, so they both echo each other, really. So if there's anything you want us to amend, so I think don't worry if you've got things like TBC at the moment, so cause to support, because we can still get the brew days out there, and obviously you want to encourage other people to sign up, so we can always go in and amend those captions or those map listings later on.
Yeah, so we get the word out on our socials. As Kimberley mentioned, we've got like little graphic templates, and we just shout about you as soon as you've signed up. And then we will follow up with everybody from January anyway, because we're going to end up with this dashboard of information, which we basically work from for everything for the campaign for the whole kind of time. But we can easily see any gaps in information. So like, obviously, when it comes to it, we're going to want to know what your beer is, what it's called, and how people can buy it, so that we can share that information as well. So we might be kind of not on, we won't be nagging, but we might be communicating a lot with you just to make sure that, you know, everything you know, we also know, basically. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up an online community so that people have the option, which it is obviously optional. Not everyone likes to do this kind of thing, and it can get a bit, you know, how many inboxes can one person have? But we like to set it up as an option. And at the moment, we're asking people as part of the initial sign up form which platform they would prefer. And then in the new year, we're going to set up that online community based on the majority preference. And we're asking people at the same time whether they would want to be invited and added to that when we set it up. So that's all to feed into on the sign up form. And then we'll share any content that you post about your brew day and your plans. So anything you're sharing ahead of time, if it's a public event and people can book and you're promoting that, if you're tagging us in, we'll reshare all of that over the coming months. And one thing that we would love is if you do take any photos on the day, we would love to see those and have them. We're going to start doing an impact report for Women on Tap, and we want to be able to show visuals because it always really kind of adds so much to the words and the numbers to actually see the faces that were involved. And what is next? So yeah, so we basically collate everyone's beer info into one big list so that everyone can have a look through. And it's really nice actually for the other projects to be able to see everyone's, not just for kind of the public to be able to look and see what they want to buy. It's good for like bottle shops and bars that are looking for beers to stock. We have a lot of people asking us about the beers, and when they're released, people want to support this campaign and they want to support the projects and order the beers in. So yeah, we're really keen to kind of collate all that info and make sure it's up to date and people know either who to contact if it's a trade inquiry or what your web shop link is, or both. And we'll make sure that we have all of that to shout about. We'll also ask you about what cause you're going to be supporting, because it's just a lovely thing to be able to tell the world. I think last year we supported there were 44 different women's causes that were supported through the campaign. And we actually put a list up, and it's quite overwhelmingly like amazing to be able to say that this campaign has, you know, had some impact on all of those people. And we'll also ask how much you will donate. Now, some people say it's a percentage of sales, and they won't know that till further down the line. And we send a final questionnaire out to capture all of that right at the end, which is usually around May time, I think. So generally people have a much better idea of, you know, if they've said, oh, we're donating 10%, but we don't know what it is yet. Usually people have a bit more of an idea by then. And then, as I've mentioned, we'll help you promote any launch events or anything else that you do as part of it. A really kind of quick mention, this is new for this year. So we're going to offer a bursary scheme this year, which we've not officially launched yet, but we have got a number of sponsors on board to help us do this, which is amazing. And the idea is that we're going to help cover some direct costs for people who may want to come to a local brew day, but might have to pay for their own travel, take unpaid leave, you know, just fund their own way basically, and who may find that a barrier to getting involved. So we're going to launch this in January, and people are going to be able to apply online, and we'll set out what the process is and everything. But I just thought I'd mention it this evening while we're here, because it's brand new. It's hopefully going to help more people get involved in their local brew days and meet people and enjoy that wonderful experience that we know. And yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a really great thing to do. And it's a pilot scheme, but if it works well and works the way I hope, then I hope we can continue that in other ways going forward. So just a little note about how we will support you. We're obviously adding everything to the map. There's a lot of back end sort of admin that goes on for this campaign, as Kimberley knows all too well. we add you to the map, and the map is awesome, and I love it, seeing it come to life. And when you look afterwards and you see all of the kind of international projects that happened as well, and you go, wow, it's really amazing. We'll create these bespoke graphics for social media, and we'll send you the welcome pack, which we've already prepped the FAQs and the tips for socials. We're going to shout about your project, your beer and your launch events across our platforms, and we're here if you need us. We also do quite a lot of media stuff through the beer industry media list that we have, and obviously SEBA as our headline partner are really keen for us to shout about what we're doing through them as well, and through their members newsletters and things, so it all gets out there as well.
I think I just wanted to jump in, and I think if one of the things that you need as well is support on, I guess if it's like your first brew day and you're doing it as a closed invite only brew day, I guess we're happy to support you with that as well. If you're like, actually, we've got this invite list, and I don't know, there might be like a cross section of people on it, but then you're like, actually, we want to use this to outreach. We can probably come up with recommendations or ways to support you to do that as well, just to kind of help you kind of grow and get the right people there. So if you're like, I don't know, I want XYZ amount of beer writers, or I don't know, whatever it may be, or you want to actually invite people from other causes that you're interested in, or, you know, I guess use it as an opportunity for you. And we can definitely help support with that as well if you need any suggestions.
Yeah, and it's a good point about the brew days that aren't public. Like we still support the projects in the same way. So even if it's like just you and your teams, or, you know, whatever, we're still gonna celebrate what you're doing and the causes you're raising for, and any of your content from the day that you share. We will treat you the same. We're not asking people to do them public. A lot of people don't do public brew days, especially if it's your first one. Quite often people like to do their first one with their team and kind of put their toe in the water first, and then maybe think about growing it the following year. So after the brew day, we just keep sharing content. A lot of people are really proudly kind of launching their beer labels. Look at these beautiful cans, you know, packaging videos and stuff like that. We just continue sharing anything that is kind of tagged and relevant to the campaign. We'll keep sharing. And then once everyone's brew days happened, obviously we have all of that on our mega dashboard that is the go-to for everything. We'll know when everyone's brew days done with, and we'll work out when then is best to send this kind of final questionnaire, which is really important. And I know it can be a pain doing these kind of feedback surveys, but I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. And actually, I think last year we got about a 95% response rate. So it was brilliant. People were really good at responding. But when it comes to that time, please do fill it in, because it's so important that we can gather all the stats from everyone. And then what we do with that is basically we create a bit of an impact report, and we issue press releases. So we really celebrate everyone's collective efforts. We create an infographic talking about, you know, how many breweries were involved, how many brew days participated, how much money was raised, how many beers were brewed. And there's these kind of like key stats that are like really lovely to be able to shout about. And our aim this year is to make all of those numbers go up from last year. And I've got the graphic from this year coming up, so we'll have a look at those in a sec. And then what we've started doing is to kind of officially close the campaign for that year. We're going to do an online panel where we hear from some of the projects, which is really nice, because what we do is we kind of look across the projects that we've seen, Kimberley and I, and kind of just look at some like different approaches and people that did something a bit different, and, you know, just stuff that we think might make a good online chat. And you can see, I think we've got I've got that link actually here from last year's panel. If you weren't able to see that, last year's panel is on YouTube there. So do copy that link and give it a watch if you get a chance. What is next on my slides? Sorry, these slides, I didn't think there were this many. A few more key things. this is really important because this is all about the Wine and Spirits Education Trust qualifications and the opportunity that we're offering people. On the day, whoever's participating in your brew day, whether it's internal, public, both, whoever's there, it can be staff as well. So if it's the brewers from your brewery, anyone that's there participating in that brew day has the option to basically fill in an online form. Everyone on that online form then gets shared with WSET, and they will randomly select 30 people from across the regions to be offered. Even if you're offered it and you don't want to, that's fine, but they'll select people who will be offered first refusal on those 30 places. So obviously it's optional, but it's a really nice thing to be able to offer everyone that's kind of involved. And we will send our project lead contact the online form link, and then ask you to share with your participants, just so we don't want all of that data. We want you to keep that and get the permissions to just send that link on. Yeah, and just don't forget to tag us in everything so that we see it and we can reshare it. Think about how the theme might feed into your activity and be creative. Like, it could be to do with your artwork. It could be something you do on your brew day. It could be to do with how you approach contacting the groups you want to work with for the project. And also do let us know if anything changes, because changes happen all the time. We know that. Any information you've already given us about your brew day or anything like that, let us know if it changes, because we just update things and it's no big deal, but we just want to make sure that we've got accurate info for you, and we can make that change, no problem. So I'm going to hand over to Kimberley now, who's selected some inspiration for you.
Oh, I hope the video's right. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have to steer though, because
I'll drive this to see what
so
happens.
who knows? Go on then. We can just go forward. So I've just tried to. Obviously, there's so many projects to focus on. So what I've done here is, I mean, we'll just play a snippet of each one. I think we'll send you these slides afterwards, but this is just some social content from a couple of breweries about how they put together, like, promoting their brew day and stuff, just so you can get some inspo, really. So I'll shut up now and you can just play them. Perfect. You have to click on each one to play.
Some of these are far too professional for me.
I like this one because they take you on a little pub crawl with them as well.
You want me to go to the next one?
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought I'd just show you. They're all very different, so I just thought it was good to get a mixture, because I quite like these ones because they're they're showing you exactly what they did on the day. A little bit like ours, Jen, when we had a Star Wars rave. So everybody's a very different one. I just thought I'd give you some inspo.
And then this one?
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.
So yeah, on the brew days, I think we've had. I guess to give you an overview, I think that they're all so varied. So obviously, some people do have a closed brew day. I think whatever you do, that group shot, if you could just do a group shot with whoever is involved, that is amazing. So even if it is a closed brew day and, you know, there's a handful of you, we want to see those group shots and we want to share them. And we also, you know, it's good for us in terms of participant numbers and things like that, and just seeing all the people that are involved. We love them. So please share those all videos if you can on your brew day, whatever is happening. And then in terms of the actual brew days, I think, you know, you saw some of those had talks, some of them had like tasting sessions. I think, you know, they've all been so varied. I mean, at one of them there was even like a belly dancing workshop. So some there's been like yoga sessions. I think there's been salsa. At ours we had a little lightsaber battle, a quiz. So yeah, I think, you know, be as creative as you like, and there's definitely, even if you want to go through all of the tagged content from last year, just on the Instagram, you'll definitely get some inspiration there. But I think just you know, some people do a couple of hours and some people do a whole day extravaganza. And as you saw that one brewery, they did like you know, everybody brought food with them and they all did a little share, and then they went to some local pubs as well after they'd finished. So I think it's a really lovely way to make activities around the brew day, really, and just get to know and strengthen your community. Perfect. Next slide.
The beers.
And then, yeah, there's so many beers and so many different pieces of artwork, so much social content. So I really struggled with what to put in here. But I just wanted to show you kind of some of the names from last year and just some of the artwork. And yeah, it's a real mixture. So some people, you know, their name might be to do with, they might have collectively named it between all of the participants. So I know that's something that we're going to do a battle, because ours is still barrel aging from last year. But other times, you know, sometimes people even put it out to their social media community and other people in the brewery to help them name. Some people name based on the theme. Some people, like you can see the wrong sized space suits. That's obviously based around there wasn't any space suits made for women, and one of the kind of space missions had to get cancelled because women couldn't get in the space suits. So I think anything that's to do with I guess, you know, like smashing the patriarchy and all that stuff, I think people do veer to that as well. And then sometimes they align with the causes or the flavours of the beers. So I think, you know, there's a real variety. But I know Rachel's dropped a handy hit listing for you to look at from last year for some inspo. But I just wanted to show you the range of artwork, just so you you know, it's not really set in stone. So I think it's you know, be as creative as you like. But obviously one thing we love is if you get our lovely logo on the cans or the pump clip.
Yeah, a lot of people did do that, and it's great just to see. It just kind of adds that like cohesion across the design if there's the little icon on there.
Amazing. Next one, yeah, please. And then I just thought the launch events, they were also different. So I just put a couple of the posters on here so you could see some of the launch events. And I mean, yeah, very different. So you can see Buxton did the quiz, and they used it to do an additional charity raffle to raise extra money for the cause that they were aligned with. Fowl did like a social graphic just to say like these, you know, and they tagged all the venues in their social post. So their launch was more based around, you know, actually this is all of the stockists, so this is what's happening. And I know that Turning Point did an amazing almost like a tour poster to say where the beers were going to be available. So it was at multi venues. I wanted to show the black and white one because that's Rock and Roll Brewery, and they actually did a private event. But when they did a private brew day, but when they did the launch, they actually had like 3 feminist kind of riot girl bands on, and they launched their beer while that was happening. So I thought that was a pretty cool one. And then Mondo did a charity beer launch, and you can see there's lots of activities they did on theirs, but they did it at Battersea Arts Centre, so it wasn't at the brewery. It's because of kind of the arts link up that they had for that one. And then the Bundo one was kind of a link up, you can see, between all of those groups. So they did a launch and got all of the separate communities just to do a little mix at that as well. But there's so many amazing launch events, and some people even did launch events online. So yeah, I just wanted to give you those for inspo just so you could have a look. Amazing. And I think that's me done. There's so much I could share. It's really hard to choose. So I just put a couple of different ones on so you can
honestly have a scroll through our socials from last year, even just Instagram, and you'll see the the amount of stuff that was coming through, and it's so vibrant and exciting. It's really good for
I think we will try and do some case studies as well, because I know we've got some that we want to highlight. So that's something that's a work in progress as well. So we can share those with you if you need those too.
Yeah, and this is the last couple of slides now. So I just thought I'd share the kind of infographic from this year again, which is the benchmark now for this year. Hopefully we can bump all those numbers up. Certainly want to develop more internationally as well. We'd love to see more overseas projects coming on board, and 837 participants is pretty good. We'd love to get that over 1,000, and these are all little targets in my head, but it would be great to see it grow, and there's no reason why we can't do that. And every project, no matter how small, is all as relevant and as welcome. And this year, this is another edition for this year. So we've had a special kind of collector edition poster designed, which we're going to launch every year in the campaign colorway. The design will stay the same. The number changes on it, but it's going to be a fundraiser for the next year's campaign, and that's what it looks like. So you'll see that's just got the 26, and that's the only thing that will change is the number and the colours each year. So hopefully there'll be really snazzy collectibles for some people that are into that and have an office wall or something that they'd like to.
Well, the thing we did at our brew day, which you could do with this poster, is we actually all signed a poster. So everybody that participated signed it, if you see what I mean, so that we got like a record, and then we could keep, if that grows every year, we could kind of see that as well. It's just, something fun to do.
Great idea. And I think that's about it on the presentation stuff. So I've just put our contacts on there. Really make sure that you're following us. Have a look through the posts from this year's campaign. You've got me and Kimberley and Rachel as well, and we've got an email address that we all kind of check in on, and have a look at Women on Tap stuff if you haven't already seen what we're doing. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of see whether anyone of you had any questions that we haven't already covered, anything you want to ask while we are still on the call this evening.
I like that comment. Cogs are whirring for the launch event. Yeah.
Is there no questions? Have we covered everything?
I was going to say, the launch event in terms of the tap room, I mean, we've seen some people do launch events with, I guess if it's been bottle shops as well, or like, I don't know, meet the brewers, running in tandem as well. So there's, there's definitely lots of ways to be creative. I thought people would have loads of questions. I'm surprised.
I did as well. We must have been very thorough. I think the main thing is, like, I know sometimes people are reluctant to sort of join the online communities around these projects, but I suppose for me it's a really good way of asking each other questions as well as you kind of go through the project. And certainly I think the people we've spoken to are really open to kind of sharing their experiences or supporting each other. It is all a big community. So I think if you do sign up this year and you are happy to join these communities, it'd be great to see that getting really active and people kind of chatting with each other and supporting each other through the campaign as well. And if there are no questions, I guess that is us done. There is an email on there, where we are. We're both quite active on socials. Drop us a direct message, any sort of questions or thoughts you have and you want to run past us. We are here. And I do have one last slide though. Hang on a minute. There we go. My final words are, we hope to see you all kind of as part of the 2026 campaign, and I hope it's been really useful this evening. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Kimberley, for helping me with this, and
no problem.
See you all soon.
See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining. Bye.